And my opportunity to be with you today and talk about embracing change is because of some things that I do on the outside of being a franchisee and a retired military person. I'm also a motivational keynote speaker. And so when I go out and talk to groups and organizations, I have an opportunity to tell them stories or help them understand things that I learned in 36 years of serving the military, 37 years of marriage to the same woman who's been kind enough to stay my wife for that long, raising 4 kids and now some grandkids. And that has just given me an opportunity to learn a lot of things and see a lot of things. And I've started to make it my mission to figure out, how do I live in a place where excellence can become my average? And how do I go positive instead of negative when life happens? What are the things that I can do to make that happen? And so as I started reaching deeper into that and researching it and trying to learn more about it, it has given me the opportunity to share that message with people. And I want to share some thoughts with you today, because everything that we saw that's coming up in our brand is amazing. But that doesn't mean it's all going to work. But it's change, right? It's change that's going to happen in our brand, and we need to be willing to change and not just allow change to happen, but go looking for it and embrace change. And the only difference between people that suffer through change and people that thrive through change is a decision of how we see that change that's coming and how we believe that might impact us, our perception of how that might impact us. And so I just want to talk to you a little bit about what change really is. I mean, what is it, right? I mean, if we didn't embrace change, we'd still be living on Gilligan's Islands with no boats, no lights, no motor cars. All right, old people, that's funny, right? Young people have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. Okay. We'd be stuck in the Stone Ages growing up like my father did. Walking to school 3 miles uphill, both ways, in the snow. I mean, you think you have climate change now. Apparently in the 1940s, there was snow year-round. And he had to take a baked potato from the oven in the morning and carry it in his hands to keep his hand warm, and then that was what he had for lunch. So I said, Dad, how did you keep your hands warm on the way home? Did you put them in your pockets? And he said, we couldn't afford pockets. We don't want to be living there. And forget about innovation. I mean, all the cool things that we do now, if we didn't embrace change, we couldn't FaceTime and Facebook and Instagram. We couldn't Snapchat. We couldn't tweet. We couldn't twerk. You know what I mean, right? And eventually, we would just disappear. We would disappear like some other brands have done, and there's a lot of really big names on there. Now, I've seen some people in here that are even older than I am, and you can stop checking your MySpace account. There's nothing coming in. But some of these brands were super powerful. I mean, Kmart was Walmart before Walmart even knew they were going to be a thing. And who was Kmart's biggest contributor? Who did they have a huge contract with their clothing and their towels and all that? Who did they partner with? Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart went like this. I mean, a quick stop in jail, but went like this. And Kmart disappeared. And who knows what Blockbuster turned down right before they went away? What did they turn down an opportunity to become? Netflix. Yes! I was as shocked as you were. Seriously, get rid of MySpace. You'd have seen this. And the almighty BlackBerry, I'm a military guy. I had a BlackBerry. That was what we had because it was more secure than a regular phone, right? And then the iPhone came out. And BlackBerry actually had the first touchscreen, and they went away from it because they said, everybody wants the keyboard and the little tracker ball. That little touchscreen, that'll never work. Yeah, and now you have a BlackBerry paperweight. Because they went to a conference and saw an opportunity to change and said, no, we're not going to do it. But we do it by being who we are, not who they are. We embrace it. Now, change can be a lot of things. If you're my wife, change is changing your outfit 3 times before we go out for dinner. And coming to me every time and saying, what do you think? And I say, I think it looks fantastic. Let's go. And she goes, nope, I don't like it, right? And she has to change it again. If you're our oldest son, who happens to be here with us today because he's a partner in one of our locations, if you're him, change to him is 2 different colleges, 3 different degree changes on a 7-year journey to a bachelor's degree. Now, I don't have favorite children, but he did give us our first grandchild, so, he's right up there. He's leading. If you're my friend, it's 3 different wives over 25 years. And if you're fashion, look at fashion. It's changing all the time, and I should have kept all my clothes from the 80s because they're all back now. And I would be super cool, like I was then. We want change. We're looking for change. We know change is coming. We know when we get into adulting, we're going to get that first job in a high-rise building with that corner office and that great view. We're going to buy that first home. It's going to look like that for sure. We're going to start the perfect family, and of course, we've got to have our first car, which has to be a sports car. We want those changes to come. It's what we're evolving into, and then here's what we really get. right? Maybe I will take that job at the hamburger shop because times are tough. Now, that is not a picture of my wife and I's first house, but it's pretty darn close. That panel van is nicer than ours was. But talk about kids. Talk about embracing change when kids come along. We have 4 kids. When the first kid came along, we knew that we had to have pictures and videos of that kid. It was 1988. So we went to the movie store. It was called Mr. Movies in our town. We went to Mr. Movies, and they were selling their video cameras because they were going to the new video camera. The new video camera was about the size of a semi-truck, but it was one piece that you could carry on your shoulder. The old ones were a 2-piece, right? The VCR and player and recorder hung down here, and it had a long cord and then the camera that you held. Then you could use it to record, and then you could go home and watch the VHS tape that you had just made. First kid's coming along. We got to have video of this first kid. We're so broke, we can't even afford to pay attention. I mean, we have no money. But they're selling these used video cameras for about a fourth of what a new one cost. And a fourth of what a new one cost was $400 in 1988. Because the new ones were $1,500, $1,600. Now, I told you we couldn't even afford to pay attention, but we had to have a video camera because you have to get hundreds, if not thousands of hours of video that you're never going to watch. So I go and I buy this video camera, and we take all this video, and we've got all these pictures. And then the first birthday comes along of that first child. Now, this is a big deal. It's the first kid, first birthday. You got to make it big. You got to go all out. So we got clowns coming. We got ponies coming. We got Barney the dinosaur coming. See, talk about somebody who didn't embrace change. You don't see him anymore. We got all this stuff coming. We got a F-16 flyover happening. We got all the stuff. And then the second kid comes along. We have a few hours of video of that one and a few pictures, and I think we had a first birthday party. The third kid came along. We don't have any video. We got a few pictures, and I'm not even sure when her birthday is. The fourth child came along. I don't even know what his name is. I mean, talk about embracing change. It changes as we go forward. That's what life does to us. It just changes as we go forward. And sometimes we're all about it. When the new iPhone's coming out, we stand in line for hours to get new iPhone with, 2 pieces of new technology. But people will stand in line for hours and embrace that new technology. And seasonal drinks, good Lord, you got to be kidding me. The pumpkin spice latte is like a national trend. I didn't know this, but you refer to it, if you're cool, you refer to it as a PSL. I thought that was a gaming system that was competing with Nintendo. I don't know what that is. And then think about politics, man. We just can't wait for change in politics. It doesn't matter who's in office. We're just ready for the next set of idiots. We don't care. Just change them out, right? But when it comes to business and the things that affect us or affect our business, we're like, whoa, easy. Slow down. What are we doing? You're changing policies, corporate restructuring, all these different things, cultural shifts. What are we doing? And we say things like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to say, if it's not broke, let's break it. Let's just see. Let's just see what we can do if we break it. Let's think about a new idea. Let's let the wheel spin, and let's make that idea bigger and better, and let's embrace the great philosopher, Ted Lasso. Right? If you haven't seen Ted Lasso, you're free to leave right now. I mean, you need to watch Ted Lasso. And now this is a quote that he claims that Walt Whitman made. I can't find the Walt Whitman version of this, but I love Ted Lasso, so we're going with it. And it could not be more true. It's true about when I meet somebody else. Be curious, not judgmental. It's true when my kids come to me with something that I immediately want to react to. Be curious, not judgmental. And it could not be more true when we talk about the new opportunities that we have in this brand. Where can we go? What is our left and right limit? How high can we really rise? How much of an impact can we continue to make, and on how many people? Be curious, not judgmental. And along the way, it's okay to fail. In fact, I hope that there's some failure. Because it's not worth getting something if you don't go through something to get it. So it's okay to fail along the way. In fact, some of the best products that we've ever had, some of the ones that you still use today, were born out of failure. Why do you suppose WD-40 is called WD-40? It took 40 times, right, to get it right. Water displacement, 40. It took them 40 times to figure out an absolute formula that would work to displace water or get rid of rust or help you get that bolt off that you can't get off. 40 failures. Why do you think 409 is called 409? 409 failures. Are you kidding? 408, failures to get to 409. Now, if you've ever used that stuff, I'm really happy those guys stuck with it. And why do you suppose Heinz 57 is called Heinz 57? No, it was the 57th variety that Heinz created. It has nothing to do with change. I just thought it was cool when I came across it. But it's okay. Not everything we change is going to work, and not everything we do is going to work every time. We will lead our teams through change. We will lead ourselves through change. And we have to approach it in a mindset of, we hope it's better, but we know there's a chance we may have just found a way not to do business. We have to get people to get along with us so they will go along with us. We want to know where they fit on the boat. We want to be able to talk to them about where they fit in this change. And we want to tell them, hey, there are some unknowns, but it's okay, we're doing it together, because that's what we do here. And we don't want to just wait for it to come to us. We want to be looking constantly at ways to change. And so some final thoughts on this, right? Some final thoughts on embrace the discomfort, because change can be uncomfortable, and that's okay. There's a saying that says, get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the dumbest saying I've ever heard, because if you're comfortable being uncomfortable, you're clearly not uncomfortable enough. Growth comes from discomfort. Be okay with it. Embrace it. Lean into it. Let it be part of who you become in the future. And then tune your inner voice to positivity. Because right now, the world around you, as I told the managers on Sunday, the world around us is pretty negative, and it wants us to be negative. Social media, CNN, Fox News, all this stuff, they're all talking negative. We need to be talking positive. What happens in our clinics is positive. So we want to tune our inner voice to positivity and what can happen. And replace that fear, that false evidence appearing real. Let's replace that with optimism. A belief that we can actually make this happen. I'm not saying you can't be a realist. Optimists just know that bad things are going to happen. It's going to get hard. Some things aren't going to work. We're going to have challenges along the way. But I want to face those with an I can attitude, not an I can't attitude. And this is one of my wife's favorite things to do, is catastrophizing. Stop catastrophizing. If you're going to look at worst case scenario, okay, that's unrealistic. Let's look at best case scenario. That's also unrealistic. Because if we're going to catastrophize, then we have to do the other as well. And let's start with the answer is yes mentality. When a new change comes out, let's say, yep, I think that'll work. Now let's get down to the business of seeing if it's actually true. Instead of starting with the answer is no mentality. Control what you can. Some things are outside of our control. And change isn't just about what's happening with our brand. Change is happening all around us. This panel did not exist 10 years ago. But due to changes that are outside of our control, we now need this kind of thing. Those changes are going to happen, and they're outside of our control. Let's worry about what we can control. And accept that sometimes we get what we need, maybe not what we want. There's a lot of change opportunity that's coming our way. But the one thing that you can control, and the one thing that I would implore you to take back today, the one thing that we can start changing today is this. Now, maybe you've all got this figured out. Maybe you know that it's not really a job, that you're changing the world one person at a time, or you're changing the world one service at a time. But does your team know this? I know your managers do, because I was with a lot of them on Sunday, and they have a fantastic attitude, and I think they get the fact that they are changing the world one person at a time. But let's spread that across our entire team. Let's make sure our teammates understand that what we're doing here is not a job. We are making people's lives better, one service at a time. That's what you do. That's what you signed up for when you became a franchisee, and that's what you signed up for when you took the manager job, and that's what our providers, and not just our therapists and estheticians and stretch providers that are here with us today, but all of them, our entire team, what we do is make people's lives better one service at a time. And to date, you have done that 225 million times. Now let's go do it 225 million more. Thank you very much, and God bless you. I appreciate you.